This is how my world started out, and this is what the world is going to look like by the end of the video. So let's get into how I did all of that. I started out by going to the nether. At the end of our last episode, I had died in the end, lost all of my diamond armor. It was just the worst, and so rather than do that 7 more times and just die, I decided my time would be spent much better in the nether trying to get wither skulls so that I could build the wither. Unfortunately, I'm a noob to Minecraft. If you guys haven't figured that out by now, I'm really bad. Originally, this series was hardcore, but I died at like day 200 because I can't make it past there. And it wasn't even a good death. I mean, right here, I go to get inside my portal and realize, oh wait, my portal isn't here anymore. And once again, I just die. I just die so many times because I can't play Minecraft, guys. I'm here to make Minecraft content, not to actually be good at Minecraft. I decided rather than try to do anything hard, I would just go strip mining to try to find diamonds so that I can make diamond armor, because I just kept dying way too many times. And this took me a little while, maybe 20 minutes before I found any diamonds, which honestly isn't too bad with how much I had to travel through already mined areas. But in no time at all, I ended up finding 4 diamonds, which doesn't really get me anything. I mean, I could make boots. You'll also see a bunch of like chat on screen right there. That's because I was live streaming this on TikTok, and I didn't really want to talk while I was doing it, so I was just using the game chat to communicate with my live chat. Looking back on this was so stupid. I don't know why I just didn't talk. It was like 3 a.m. That's part of it. But if you see a little bit of talking in the chat, I'm not actually playing with anyone. I'm just talking to my live audience, and yeah, we'll just keep going. So the big project, which you guys have probably already seen on the cover photo or thumbnail of this video, is going to require lots and lots of emeralds. So if you'll remember at the end of the last episode, I made a string duplicator, which I would be using to get massive amounts of string and then sell it to villagers so that I could get emeralds. I also made some smithing villagers who I could buy a bunch of armor from. Now you might be confused, why did I just buy 10 iron helmets from him? That was not a misclick, but rather I needed to level him up. And so obviously I don't need all of these iron helmets, so I can just throw them in the lava. Even if I were to die, like a ton of times like I have, I wouldn't need that many iron helmets. But eventually you can level them up to where they give you really good enchants, or not enchants, but enchanted armor. And so I did this to both of them. I just leveled them up, and then I was able to get super easy armor out of both of them because, you know, I have a system set up where I can pretty much get an infinite number of emeralds through my infinite number of string. And then this does take a few days to get complete armor like Prot 4, Unbreaking 3, Feather Falling 4. It still took about 2 hours, I'd say. But once it's set up, now if I ever die, I can get all of that back in a matter of like 5 minutes, at least most of the way. So they don't sell Prot 4 armor. They might only sell Prot 2. So I'd have to wait 2 Minecraft days to get it. But essentially, it's going to go by super quickly. And so now I was set up in a way that even if I die in the future, I'll be able to instantly get diamond armor again with just the way it's all set up. And then I can also upgrade it pretty quickly without enchanting books. You're also probably wondering why I just bought like 7 diamond hose. Not because I need 7 diamond hose, but rather because I needed an axe from this guy. Because when you first make the villagers into Fletchers, they sometimes ask for sticks. And so I didn't realize I should have just refreshed their trades until they wanted to sell me arrows for emeralds. And so I went around chopping down tons of trees so that I could sell them sticks. Because if I want to sell string to the Fletchers, then I have to get them to a higher level. And so if their first trade is asking for sticks, the only way to get them leveled up is to give them sticks. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense. If you watched my video that I posted yesterday, you'll remember I leave on my mission in less than 4 days. It's like 3.5 at the time of me recording this. It'll be like 2.5 days by the time this is posted. So I don't have time to like script this whole video, make it the best I can. I'm trying my hardest. I went through 84 hours of content last night in about 8 hours, just collecting everything I could from this video, trying to make it look the best I can. So obviously there are probably a few mistakes in this video, but hopefully I can make it entertaining enough to keep you guys around for longer than 5 minutes and 18 seconds. A lot of this video, well, not a lot of the video because I cut a lot of it out, but a lot of this world, this gameplay that's going on right now was me just trying to get emeralds from these guys. And I also knew that I would need more of these guys, and so I set up a quick flint farm. I wouldn't really call this a flint farm, it's just me mining or digging for flint. I don't really know how to word that. Pretty much you need flint to make more fletching tables, and then more fletching tables means more fletchers, and then more fletchers eventually means more emeralds. So this was a little bit of a process. I would have to feed and breed these villagers for a while to get even more villagers down here. I also put them all in these boats because I thought it would help me keep them separated, like not lose track of who I've done. I didn't understand at the time of playing, however, that if you want villagers to restock their trades, they have to be able to reach their workstation, which I understand now. In fact, this whole big project that we're making with Fletchers, I didn't understand that. And so towards the end of this video, I start earning way less emeralds because none of them are restocking their trades, and I couldn't figure it out. And I could have just looked it up, but I didn't look it up because I'm stupid. I don't know why. I just didn't think to look it up. So I'll fix all of the workstation problems in the next video, if there even is a next video. But for right now, it's working good enough. And the project ends up working out, obviously, and so it's all fine. Like I said earlier, I had to chop down tons of trees. This was just because I didn't understand yet the best way to go about getting the villagers to the levels I wanted. If I were to replay all of this again, I wouldn't have to cut down hardly any trees, maybe a few for a different project. Well, the same project, but like a different part of the project. We'll go over that later. But for this part right here, getting all of the villagers I want to make trades with, I didn't need to cut down these trees. I thought I did. And so that's why I was originally doing it. I also found out that the best time to trade with villagers was right when they wake up and then right when they go to bed. If you trade with them right when they wake up, then they're all in each other's way and you kind of lose track of who you've been to. But if you do it right when they wake up, then it gives them enough time to restock. And so rather than only being able to get 16 emeralds from your villagers every day, you're able to get 32 emeralds for your villagers every day, and that doubles the number of emeralds. And seeing as I didn't have enough Fletchers to be constantly making trades the entire day, it was better if I could try to get the 32 emeralds from every villager rather than just the 16. And that's all I did for several hours, like real life time. It was just making these trades, occasionally breeding a few of them, giving them carrots here and there. But I would just run here, and then I would run to the string machine, pick up the string. Eventually, I was ready to start my project. The first part of the project was going to be terraforming. I had to terraform this big area for just over 45 minutes. I made the area in front of the pink building a lot bigger because it was just a straight drop off into the water. That wasn't really necessary for this next build, but it makes the overall village look better, and I want this village, at least the parts that I build, I want the area around it to look somewhat done. And then all of this part right here, I was going to need to flatten. Looking back at this, I actually didn't need to add all of this dirt in because I'll be removing a little bit of the dirt later. But for simplicity reasons and keeping track of everything, where my build is, I'm glad I put the dirt in because I think I would have just got super lost in everything. And then I started making this giant circle. It wasn't just a giant circle though. Eventually it was going to be a dome. And so I started by putting emeralds all around. And then after I got one emerald row, I started placing cobblestone and deep slate cobblestone. So here's the dome so far at 5 layers. And I did alternating every other row just so I could keep track of it. But I'm actually really glad I did this because I really like the stripe design. Originally, I was going to make this entire dome out of emeralds, which would have taken forever. Already, I'm planning to make half of the dome out of emeralds, which, as you can imagine, is an insane amount of emeralds. It takes so long to do this entire thing. That's why I had to breed so many villagers, so I could just get as many emeralds a day as possible from all of these guys. I really like the stripe design, though, so for now, this build is going to be emeralds mixed with deep slate cobble. But in the future, if I like the design, I might replace the deep slate cobblestone with obsidian, just because it's like a bigger flex. You know, having the cobblestone in there kind of makes it like, oh, why didn't you just make it completely out of emeralds? You know, like, you're kind of cheap right here. You should have gone all in with the complete emerald dome. But if I replace all of this deep slate cobblestone with obsidian, then it's like, okay, yeah, no, you're still rich. So here I am finishing the dome. Like I said, this took hours upon hours. I kept getting so lost while building this dome. Obviously, I was following a guide, and it looks good in the end. I mean, this looks really good, even just made out of stone. I'm super proud of this. But during the process of building it, I got so lost so many times. I was so worried it wasn't going to look okay. To speed up production, I made another string duper. I don't know how this one worked, because you're supposed to dig the string or break the string with your shears and then pull the lever. And I just pulled the lever. I didn't do anything else. I just pulled the lever and it started working by itself. I don't know if that's always how it's supposed to work and you don't even have to break the string, or if that's just my computer causing the game insane amounts of lag and so it worked for me. I don't know, and I guess there's really no reason to question it, because this video is probably going to get less than 100 views, which means less than 50 people will make it to this part in the video and less than 10 people will care. So we're just going to keep moving on and pretend it doesn't matter, because it doesn't. So the next part of this build was just replacing the cobblestone rows with emeralds. Here's a picture of it so far. Well, I guess this is actually a video, not a picture, but nothing's moving, so it's pretty much a picture. And so far it's looking really good. You know, that's only like 3 layers at the top done. It's not even done all the way around. I just started filling in all the emeralds that face this side of the city so that I could see the progress without having to do quite as much. And it was looking good. One annoying part of building the dome was all of the mobs that were spawning inside. Zombies and creepers weren't really a problem. I didn't care about them. But occasionally the spiders would like crawl up the side of the dome and attack me. And then 2 or 3 times skeletons shot me. I never fell off the dome, but I was really close to falling off the dome when they shot me. And so I came in here and just started lighting it up, which I realize now was kind of completely pointless, because then I had to dig out the entire place, which means destroying all of the torches I just laid. I do have an efficiency 4 shovel though, which means if we take that and then mix it with speeding up this video by 800%, we can get this thing dug out pretty quickly. I found a lot of sand down here, which was very helpful because I would be needing a lot of glass. Unfortunately, there was nowhere near enough sand within the dome itself, and so I had to travel only about 200 blocks actually. I found this sand pit very quickly, which would help because, like I said, I would need tons of glass to complete the build. I would also need that glass to be stained glass, purple and magenta. And so I spent a while looking for a flower tree biome. I think that's what it's called. No, flower forest biome. That's why my F3 was pulled up right there. Had to check the names of the biomes. I spent forever finding a purple flower. And this is because purple flowers do not exist in Minecraft. I thought they did, but there's only magenta flowers, or flowers that give magenta dye. And so you can only make purple with red and blue dye combined. But this is the idea. You place 7 layers of purple, then magenta, then purple, then magenta, and you get this super cool fog effect. You guys, there's a fair chance you guys have seen this before. But the idea is to fill in this entire place 7 layers down with the glass, which is going to be an insane amount of glass. I didn't count exactly how much it was, but I know it's within 200 blocks of 6,400, like just a little over 6,400. So less than 6,600, more than 6,400. It's a ton of glass. It just took hours and hours of mining sand or digging sand, however you want to say that, and then melting it with the furnaces. But look at this. It just looks so good. I mean, oh, I'm just so happy with how it turned out. That was only one stripe of the entire thing done. And already I could tell that it was going to look really good in the end. I decided that rather than build the glass like from the side to side like I was doing before, that would be a lot more effective to start a layer on the bottom and then like layer myself up, because that way, I don't really know. It just made more sense to do it this way. And so I cleared out this entire area, as you guys just saw, and then I started filling in from the bottom up. And this definitely went way faster. Probably at least twice as fast doing it this way, which, I mean, obviously makes sense, because maybe in creative the other way would have worked. And that's probably why I was doing it the other way originally, because I've also been playing on a creative world recently. I built my entire house in Minecraft on a 1 to 13 scale. So every meter in real life is like 13 meters in Minecraft. It was an insanely huge project. I might post a video of that later. If I do, it'll probably be at least in 2 years, because that's going to take forever to finish. Anyways, this is just me filling in the layers. I'm not going to show me filling in every single layer, because it'll just take way too long to show all of that, even if I put a super fast time lapse. But I figured I'd show at least a layer or two, just so you guys can kind of see what I spent hours of my life doing, because this is productive and totally worth my time. Be sure to subscribe so this can actually someday maybe be worth my time. I was kind of stupid and got rid of my one lavender flower. As long as I had one lavender flower, I could use it and then use bone meal on it to get a whole ton more lavender flowers, and then use that to get magenta dye. But I used all of the flowers to get all the magenta dye, and I ran out of magenta dye. So I had to make a trip back to the flower forest. And I very quickly got what I needed, but I decided to stick around and get more, just because if I can get more flowers, I might as well. Because, I mean, I didn't know if I'd have to go back there someday. And then as you can see here, when I got back, I just started filling in the second to last layer for the emeralds, at least down lower. There's a whole ton of layers up higher that I'm still going to have to suffer through later. But I'm almost done with the part that disappears down into this place. I think I'm just going to go with the 4 layers down. As of day 400 when I'm recording this, that's as far down as I went with it. And it looked pretty good overall. I mean, this place is looking good. It's not even finished, and it's looking good. And then it was back to filling in the rest of the sort of fog effect floor. I think I already said this. The colors on my computer aren't as vibrant as compared to most devices. So I knew that this floor looked good, but I didn't realize just how good it was actually looking. When I started live streaming, I looked at my stream on my phone and I was like, wait a minute, this looks way better than it does on my computer. And I was actually super happy about that, because it meant that, I mean, just look at this floor. In the end, this looks super good. Now all we gotta do is replace all the cobblestone with emerald. This place will be more or less completely done. So let's get to it. First of all, I went back to the Fletcher's and I started trading, because if you want to build with emeralds, obviously you gotta get emeralds. I really need to script these videos better. Maybe in the future, but I don't have time for that right now. So we're just going to keep moving right along, completely unscripted. I spent hours upon hours trading with these guys to get the emeralds, and this is what it looked like in the end. It looks super, super good, in my opinion. One of my best builds I've ever done in a survival world. I'd say this is even better than the lighthouse, and the lighthouse is a functioning lighthouse. Now, right here I have super low frames per second. This was because I was live streaming, but I have to show this to you guys anyways. I dug one random block right there because I was going to dig a hole to put the villager in, the zombie villager, and I just happened to find this ancient debris right here. I don't know what the odds of that are, but I can guarantee it's less than like 0.1%. Being this high in the nether, that's just crazy that I would dig one random block. Once again, it's stuff like this that makes you think maybe he did script these videos, but this is just me playing in a world and just having crazy coincidences. I was in the nether originally because I thought about putting lava coming down from here, but since this place was already full of green and purple, I decided to go with the blue. And I'm really glad I did because this looks so sick. I'll make the water go deeper into the floor. It only goes one block right now. At the end of this video, I'll make sure it goes probably 4 blocks down. Anyways, let me reconnect my TikTok live studio and we'll get to the next part of the video. I forgot to start my recording before I started this part. I put a bunch of cobblestone all around the edges. This was just to map out where I want to put the walls. And it was looking pretty good. I'm not exactly sure how many. It's probably somewhere between 50 and 70 villagers that'll end up being in here. I'll be sure to count them when I make, or if I make the next episode. I then headed to the nether. Originally, I was here to get the blue trees, because I want to make the blue fences. But I decided that that actually wouldn't look as good, and I'm really glad I went with black stone walls instead, because I think that eventually I'm going to replace the deep slate cobble with obsidian. I can't remember if I already mentioned that, but eventually I'm going to replace all of the deep slate cobblestone with layers of obsidian, because I really do like the striped effect, but I don't want to keep the cobblestone because it makes it look cheap in here. But yeah, that's me finishing the dome. I just skipped 7 hours of content. I was live, so there's no question of whether or not I faked this. I've got the entire footage saved in my TikTok. But, oh, it took so long. I'm going to fix this door into something different in the future. I don't know what I want to look like yet, so I'm just going to leave these trapdoors here to keep mobs out. And there you go, the Fletcher Dome. It both looks cool and has a good name, so I'm excited. Oh, it just looks so good. It's day 388, as you guys can see right there, though, which means I only have 12 days left in this world to finish everything I want to do. And the first thing I want to do is cut down a bunch of trees, because inside the villager trading hall, there are a bunch of villagers who keep getting out of their cages, their bedrooms, and I don't want them visiting each other, and so I had to extend those fences just a little bit so that they wouldn't get out. And then most of the rest of the 12 days was spent trying to get more villagers in here. I want you to notice the 2 villagers to my left right now. They're in a boat. Just remember them. I returned back here because if I was going to get all of the villagers I needed inside the trading hall, I was going to need to breed and feed a whole lot more villagers into existence. And so that's what I did. Anytime I wasn't breeding or feeding, I was digging out the hole. I think I show that in a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. But I just came here to breed and feed while I waited for something to happen. And then once I bred and fed, I would put these boats out here to kidnap villager babies. There's no sugarcoating it. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm kidnapping these kids the day they're born and moving them into slave labor. Minecraft's a really terrible game in some ways, but nobody really thinks about it like that too much, so it's all good. Anyways, I'd take these guys, I'd row them over next to my little house over here, and that's where I'd start getting them to work. Yep, this is the part where I was starting to dig out the hole. So I got rid of the swimming pool down here that had my axolotl. Eventually, I'm going to have this entire pit go down to Y level negative 59, I think. Maybe I'll only go to like 58 so that I can put one layer of something above the bedrock. But I definitely want this pit to go a lot lower. I won't be digging out the entire pit in this video because I don't have time. One reason I don't have time is because those villagers in the boat that we remember from earlier, somehow they turned into zombies. So I spent a while going and getting all the supplies to cure them. I didn't show all of that because I've already done this once before and you guys don't need to see it. But it probably took another 20 minutes, so that's another day wasted on something That shouldn't have happened. I don't know how the zombie got in. I also thought there were iron golems in here. So why the golem beatdown didn't happen on them, I don't know. I guess this just isn't Clash Royale. And then it was back to trying to get these guys to accept their jobs. And for some reason, some of them had problems. I would lay like 7 lecterns, and they just wouldn't accept the job for whatever reason, which was mildly annoying, but eventually we got it. This guy took a while. I taught these guys a magic shimmy dance that makes them turn back into humans, but these guys were taking a little longer to be cured for whatever reason. These guys were just so weird. I swear they switched spots within the boat like 5 times as well. I have no idea what was happening with them. But eventually I got it figured out and it was all good. All I had to do now was move whichever one didn't belong in this cage, this bedroom, and move him to his own bedroom. I had to be really careful when breaking the boats because I didn't want to accidentally punch them, because that would increase the value of all trades, which had already happened a couple of times, and so I didn't want to do it again. And luckily I successfully got him in here without having to do anything weird. And yes, I'm speeding up my boating him because the boats are so slow when they're not in the water. Anytime you've seen me in a boat this game or this video, it's most likely been sped up because it's just so painful to watch. There's also a villager out here that I didn't mention. He's been out here for a while. I don't know how he got out, but probably like halfway through this 100 days, he got out. And I didn't really want to do anything with him at the moment, and so I just kind of pushed him into a hole and marked the hole to come back later. And it worked, so I'm glad I marked it. Otherwise, I probably would have completely forgot about him until like day 700 or something, and then would have come back way far into the future and completely gone. Like I said, I need to script these videos better before I start making them. But don't have time for that, so let's just keep going. Roughly 37 seconds later, he was back in his bedroom, happy as ever. He definitely wants to be in there. He's not being forced to stay at all. And then it was back to just what I've been doing the rest of this time. Boating villagers over from the curio shop. That's what we're going to call that building over there. At least the birch one. The birch building, we're just going to call the curio shop from now on, since that's what it's modeled after. But I'd boat them over here, and then I'd put the boat on the very corner of the step so that it was super easy to push them into. And then I'd bring them. And of course, I got to speed this up because boats are so slow. And this is what I did more or less for the rest of the days. This is the other thing I did for the remaining 10 days. Come down here and mine. So, as I said earlier, I had to breed and feed a lot of more villagers to even get enough to be put into the villager trading hall. And because I can't give any of them jobs until they're adults, anytime I only had babies within the village, I would go and dig that hole deeper. I only dug the immediate 4x4 one in the very center all the way down to negative 59. Everything else will be saved for another episode. This guy right here was a pretty cool dude. He gave me Feather Falling 4, which I already had on my boots, so it's not like I'll ever need it again unless I die. But if I ever open this to a land world for my brother to play with me or something, I'll definitely need it. This is the closest I got to dying, which was annoying because I was level 103. I had spent so long trying to get to level 100. I was finally level 103, and I guess while collecting all the sugarcane, I accidentally looked at an Enderman, and I was really stupid about it. I could have just kept running, but I went back to try to find him, even though I didn't have a sword. And it wasn't quite as close as it could have been. I could have been on half a heart, but I was on a whole heart. I ran in here thinking if he followed me in here, maybe he would run through the portal, and then I ran through the other portal. I don't know if that's what ended up happening to him because I never saw him again. So maybe he's in the nether, maybe he's not. Whatever the case, I was able to get back here, get food, and restore my health all the way. So I'm not complaining, you know? It wouldn't have been the end of the world to die there. The only thing I really would have lost was levels. And then after that whole big fiasco, I sat with this dweeb for about half an hour. It was either just over or just under half an hour. I don't remember. But this guy was not giving me the trades I wanted. It's not even like he was giving me bad trades. I'm pretty sure he gives me Unbreaking 3 right here in a second. Maybe not. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. But he just never gave me a single trade that I wanted. That was a new trade. Yeah, there's the Unbreaking 3. So it's not even like he's giving bad trades. He's just not giving me new trades, which is what I really needed. So that's how I spent the remainder of the days. And here we are on day 400 now. I had to do a quick little sweep around the lighthouse just because it looks so good. Here's sort of an aerial view. Looks super good. We can take a look at the dome. Here's the outside of the dome. I do like the stripes. I definitely think it will look better with the obsidian. So I'll definitely be sure to replace that with obsidian in the future. And then here's the beautiful inside. Super, super happy with how all of this turned out. I will be adding a bunch of fletching tables in here later because I forgot or I didn't know that you had to have their workstations within reach. So I'll be doing that the next episode. In the next episode, I will also extend this hull to be a 16 by 16 instead of a 4 by 4. So we're roughly 6% of the way done with that, I guess. That will be a pretty boring thing. I'll probably add a quick time lapse and then skip to the end. Here's all the strip mining I did for diamonds, although I didn't really find that many diamonds. Not the most exciting stuff, but I figured I'd include it just in case you guys wanted to see. And that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have enjoyed watching me take this land from looking like this and turning it into this, we can show some others, turning it from this into this, then by all means hit that subscribe button, like the video, share this with your friends if they like Minecraft, because I'm not a small YouTuber necessarily, but most of my subscribers are inactive because I've been at it for about 4 years now, so I don't even think most of them watch my stuff. More support, the better. Thank you all for watching. I'll be back maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. If it's not within those 2 days, it'll be 2 years. Peace out.